Every morning, the instant your lids lift, right now, you stand at a crossroads. On one path lies the familiar, yesterday's unresolved fears, excuses waiting patiently on your shoulders, doubts crouching in the corners of your mind. That road beckons with inertia, with old habits dragging you into another day like a slow, grinding echo of the day before. The other path opens wide to power, blazing clarity, relentless momentum, the unshackling of your spirit, and pure, unapologetic freedom. The real question isn't philosophical. It's primal. Which path will you choose when your eyes open again? What I'm about to share are 7 immovable promises you must make, not someday, but the very first moment you orient to the day. If you intend not just to survive this life, but to dominate it. If you want to unearth raw energy, awaken your inner potential, and step into the life you were always meant to live. These promises are far from cliches. They're not soft affirmations whispered lazily in the mirror. They are weapons forged in silent conviction, tools to rewire how you think, feel, and act starting this morning. Once you internalize them, your relationship with morning, with beginnings, will never be the same. It all begins with one primal decision. Promise number 1, I will own my energy. I will claim it before the world demands it. Every morning is not just another page. It is the first line of a brand new chapter in your story. And how you step into it, with heaviness or with vigor, sets the tone for everything that follows. If you lurch out of bed with a foggy mind, shoulders bowed, drained of emotion, you're already trailing behind before the day even begins. But if you swear that the very first thing you do is to seize your energy, to command your body, the breath in your lungs, the rhythm of your heartbeat, you change the trajectory of not just today, but every day after. Energy is not a gift. It is the root soil from which everything grows. Your relationships, your drive, your dreams, your capacity to give, to love, to create. None of it thrives on low charge. And believe me, energy doesn't come from luck. It doesn't drop from the sky with a sunrise. It doesn't come from waiting. It comes from a conscious decision to prime your body, mind, and spirit the moment you stir. That's why morning is sacred. The moment your feet hit the floor, that's your signal. Rise with intention, awaken with purpose, move, breathe deeper than yesterday. Shake off the inertia of sleep. Step into the day as though you already own it. Because when you shift your physiology, get blood flowing, flood your body with oxygen, let movement set off a chain reaction. You send a message to your nervous system, we are alive, we are alert, we are unstoppable. The mistake so many make is subtle but deadly. They allow the phone, the notifications, yesterday's unresolved thoughts to hijack their morning before it even begins. But when you choose to own your energy, not react but create, you become a generator. You don't wait for life to give you momentum, you generate it yourself. And don't underestimate the power of that. Energy is contagious. Walk into a room vibrant, alive, with intention and fire. People feel it, they lean in, they respond, they connect. Conversely, drag yourself in tired, with hunched shoulders and heavy eyes. You might as well be carrying a dark cloud. Influence vanished before a single word. Owning your energy means refusing to let circumstances determine your state. It means declaring, I will not surrender my energy to chaos or fatigue or expectation. You guard it, you cherish it, because when you do, everything else multiplies. Clarity, productivity, connection, impact. Imagine 2 versions of yourself waking up tomorrow. The first, alert, disciplined, deliberate, drinks a glass of water, takes a deep cleansing breath, moves with intention, prepares for what's ahead. They face the day from strength, presence, readiness to create, to act. The second, groggy, reactive, delayed, snoozes, drags their feet to the bathroom, scrolls, flirts with distraction, waits for inspiration to arrive. Which version builds a business? Which one leads a family with presence? Which one closes deals, forges bonds, sleeps at night with calm satisfaction, knowing they gave their best? The difference lies in one simple decision, owning your energy. And every morning, every dawn, you choose. That's why this promise matters. It isn't about feeling good. It's about power. It's about mastering your inner world so you can shape your external world. Owning your energy means refusing victimhood, refusing to let fatigue, negativity, or circumstance dictate your state. It means showing up with fire, purpose, presence, and when you do, you unlock momentum. Momentum carries you forward, fuels the next promise, builds the next success. Promise number 2, I will live with gratitude, not scarcity. Take a breath and let that sink in. I will live from abundance, not lack, because too many of us awake, and the first thing our minds hunt for is what's missing, the missing money, the missing promotion, the missing validation, the missing time. We wake up in scarcity by default because our brains are wired that way. Survival instincts, fear, instinctual scanning for threats, fractures, absence that may have helped ancestors survive, but today it just dims your potential. It warps your emotions. It steals your joy before the sun even rises. But gratitude, real gratitude, flips the switch. It says, even if everything isn't perfect just yet, I am still blessed. I am still alive. I still have breath. Loved ones, opportunities, lessons wrapped in struggle, hard roads, growth disguised as pain. Gratitude doesn't wait for the win. It celebrates the grind. It honors the sweat. It sees the beauty in the mundane. And when you raise gratitude up as your first act each morning, you change your brain wiring. Fear, longing, lack, they fade away. In their place rises appreciation, calm, possibility, and power. Every morning before your fingers reach for your phone, before your mind charts the day's to-do list, pause, close your eyes, feel 3 things you're grateful for. Not as concepts, but as warm pulses in your chest. It could be as simple as the inhale filling your lungs, the pillow beneath your head, the chance to try again today. It could be the love that surrounds you, lessons learned, or the strength you've earned. Let those feelings flood you. Let the warmth rise in your chest until it radiates out. Because gratitude isn't a dreamy, soft emotion. It's strategy. It rewires your nervous system. Fear and gratitude cannot coexist. Stress and gratitude cannot coexist. Gratitude is the reset button. It preps you to operate from abundance, from power, from strength, from clarity. When you build on gratitude, you don't just cope, you thrive. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You become solution-oriented instead of complaint-driven. You interact with others from generosity instead of entitlement. You move through life as someone who already has enough, a person who gives, not demands. Scarcity keeps you locked in fear. Gratitude frees you to create. It doesn't mean you settle. It means you build from fullness. It means you pursue growth, passion, excellence, but from a place of wholeness, not neediness. That's what you promise when you say, I will live with gratitude, not scarcity. And from that place of inner wealth, your actions, your presence, your energy, your love rise. Promise number 3, I will focus on what I can control. I will treat my energy like capital, invest it wisely, not scatter it on what I cannot influence, because every day the world bombards you with noise, headlines, economic reports, other people's opinions, yesterday's failures, tomorrow's uncertainties. The mind, left unchecked, is like a sponge dragged through a swamp of distraction. It soaks up stress, fear, confusion, and before you step out the door, you're already carrying burdens that aren't yours to carry. Worry about things you can't change is the fastest way to drain your power, to erode your clarity, to drown your potential. But here's the promise you make when you stand up and look yourself in the mirror. I will direct my attention only to what lies within my reach. I cannot control the markets. I cannot control other people's choices. I cannot control the shifting whims of fate, but I can choose how I respond. I can choose my effort. I can choose my attitude. I can choose my standards. I can choose to show up strong. Life becomes lighter, sharper, more electric when you stop pouring energy into the infinite void of what ifs and instead anchor your force in your own actions, your own commitments, your own values. Imagine 2 people. One wakes up scrolling headlines, obsessing over every curveball the world might throw, bogged down by worries over things they can't alter. The other wakes up and asks, what is within my power today? What can I move forward? What can I build, create, improve? The first lives in chaos and frustration, powerless. The second wakes with armor of clarity, purpose, forward momentum. Which one do you want to be? Promise number 4, I will move forward even in fear. I will walk through the shadow even when the darkness whispers louder than hope. Because fear is the silent thief of dreams. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes it murmurs, maybe not yet, maybe later, maybe someone else, maybe next time. That whisper has stolen more potential than failure ever could. And the most lethal form of fear is not terror, it's hesitation. The quiet pause before action, the just in case, the what if. But here's the truth, fear will never completely vanish, no matter how many heights you climb, how many wins you collect. That voice, that shadow will still wait in corners looking for cracks. The promise you make is not that you will wake up fearless. It's that you will wake up resolved to move forward anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing action in spite of it. Think about the moments you're most proud of, the times when your heart raced, your palms sweated, but you stepped into the unknown anyway. That bold decision to apply for a job you weren't sure of. That leap of faith with love. That first presentation. That risk. That moment when the world could have swallowed you, but you said yes anyway. Those are the moments that define you. Fear will try to convince you that standing still is safest. But standing still is the most dangerous move in a life you can live. It shrinks you, it numbs you, it robs you. Growth demands risk. Progress demands uncertainty. If you wait for fear to disappear, you'll wait forever. But if you move forward regardless, you forge resilience, strength, unshakable confidence. Every morning, remind yourself, fear is a signpost, not a stop signal. If it scares you, it probably matters. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's likely where growth lives. Moving forward in spite of fear rewires your mind, trains your nervous system to associate action with power, not paralysis. Before long, you stop waiting for confidence. You build it by acting. The people who build empires aren't always the bravest, but they are the ones who keep moving when their legs shake. They walk toward fear, not away. And each step makes fear shrink until what once felt like an obstacle feels like fuel. Promise number 5, I will speak truth to myself. I will treat my inner voice as the most influential person I know and command it with power, intention, love, because the loudest voice you'll ever hear is the one inside your head, not your parents, not your boss, not society. It's the one that echoes in quiet moments at 3 a.m. when the world is still, and that voice can either build you up or tear you down. Most people wake up every morning and before they even swing, their legs over the bed, they've already begun a playbook of defeat. I'm tired. I don't have enough. I'm behind. I can't. And without realizing it, they script their day in a way that guarantees mediocrity. Posture slumps, hope drains, energy dissipates. But when you shift that inner monologue, when you infuse your first thoughts with empowerment, with strength, you command your reality. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about aligning your words with the highest version of you, the version you aim to become. I am strong. I am capable. I am unstoppable. Speak it, not to feed your ego, not to stroke some illusion, but to activate the part of your brain wired for growth, for possibility, for action. Because your mind, like a computer, executes what it's programmed to believe. So if from the moment you wake, you declare, I am resilient, I am resourceful, I am relentless, your brain starts to find the evidence. Your body responds, your posture shifts, your energy lifts. You walk taller, breathe deeper, show up with presence. That is the power of self-talk. You don't wait until you feel ready. You don't wait until the evidence lines up. You speak truth until it becomes your reality. Confidence is built by repetition, verbal declarations soaked in feeling, matched with action. If you want to change your life, your words must transform first. The gap between where you are now and where you want to be is often held open by the stories you repeat to yourself. You can keep telling stories of limitation, or you can start telling stories of power. Which script will you run? When you speak truth to yourself, every morning becomes the opening of a new battle, and the weapons you carry are words. Words shape identity, and identity shapes destiny. Promise number 6, I will pursue progress, not perfection. I will be in motion, even if messy, even if imperfect, because perfection is a trap. It's a prison built not of steel bars, but of expectations so high that they paralyze. The fear of getting it wrong, of messing up, of not looking good enough, that keeps more people locked than any external obstacle ever will. Perfection demands flawless execution, flawless appearance, flawless timing, and life rarely, if ever, gives you that. The world doesn't reward perfect. It rewards persistent. It rewards forward motion. Real impact comes not from waiting for the perfect conditions, but from stepping in anyway, from learning on the go, from doing, failing, rising, learning, adjusting, growing. Think of how a child learns to walk. They don't wait until they're confident they'll nail the first step. No, they wobble, they fall, they get back up, they stumble again. But every attempt moves them closer, inch by inch, to walking. If they had waited for perfection, they'd still be crawling. And yet as adults, many of us expect to launch our lives from the knees of confidence. We expect clarity, guarantee approval before we act. That expectation kills more dreams than rejection ever will. So promise yourself, I will choose progress, I will choose motion, I will choose growth, even if it's messy, because movement is life and momentum, even small compounds. When you commit to progress, you give yourself permission to start now, to try, to learn, to fail, to improve, to iterate, to refine. Confidence doesn't come before action. It emerges from it. With every step forward, you build trust in yourself. You see results, you calibrate, you evolve. That is how extraordinary lives are built. Not by waiting for clarity, but by creating it through persistent action. So every morning, whisper it, progress over perfection, motion over hesitation, growth over comfort. Promise number 7, I will give more than I expect to receive. I will enter every sunrise not as a taker, waiting, wanting, consuming, but as a giver, a contributor, a beacon, a builder, because too many awaken thinking, what will this day give me? What's there for me? And they walk out expecting to peak, but you walk out ready to give, to add value, to share energy, to uplift, to build. That shift from consumption to contribution transforms you. Giving isn't just a moral high road, it's a power move. It elevates you, it aligns you with abundance. It connects you to others. It builds trust. It plants seeds for opportunity. Giving doesn't require grand gestures. It doesn't demand resources. It demands heart, intention, presence, a genuine smile, a word of encouragement, your full presence to someone who feels unseen, your effort, your time, your kindness, your creativity, your authenticity, your leadership. When you decide to give before you take, to add value before you expect exchange, you break the cycle of entitlement and dependence. You open doors through authenticity. People trust you, they feel you, they follow you. And not because you demanded it, because you earned it with generosity, integrity, character, waking up each morning and committing, I will give more than I expect to receive, transforms your posture toward life. It reshapes your relationships, it reshapes your purpose, it reshapes your destiny, because a life built on contribution outlives a life built on accumulation. A life of giving leaves a legacy and fulfillment. Material success may fade, money, status, they fluctuate, but the impact, the goodness, the uplift, those echo, they reverberate, and the universe responds to that vibration. Doors open, hearts align, opportunities appear, because what you put out comes back, not always immediately, not always in the form you expect, but it comes, and often multiplied. So now, hear me, you've listened, you've absorbed, you've walked with me through 7 promises that together form a blueprint, not just for your morning, but for your life. First, the promise to own your energy, the foundation. Then to live in gratitude, the heart. Then to focus on what you can control, the strategy. Then to move forward, even in fear, the courage. Then to speak truth to yourself, the identity. Then to pursue progress, not perfection, the motion. And finally, to give more than you expect, the legacy. If you embrace these 7 commitments, if you don't just recite them, but live them, you won't simply survive your days. You'll dominate them. You'll wake up differently, love differently, lead differently, create differently, and rest at night with a soul at peace, a body fulfilled, and a spirit unchained. This isn't a quick fix. It's not a motivational spark that fades in hours. It's a war cry. It's a revolution. It's the daily rhythm of champions. So now this is your moment. If these 7 promises landed in your chest, lit something, sparked something, don't just sit on it. Don't file it away as good ideas. Let it stir your blood. Let it wake your purpose. Tomorrow morning, choose. Choose your energy. Choose gratitude. Choose control. Choose courage. Choose truth. Choose progress. Choose giving. And let nothing, no voice, no doubt, no distraction, steal that commitment from you, because your life depends on it. Decide, rise, dominate. Let your morning set the standard. Let your energy carve the path. Let your choices define your destiny. And as you walk this ground, you will no longer be a passive participant. You will be the author, the creator, the force that shifts the world. Now let's take it a step further. Making promises is one thing. Living them is another. Transformation does not come from words alone. It comes from action, repeated consistently, like drops of water carving canyons over time. You may wake tomorrow full of intention, and yet the day will demand everything of you. Patience, energy, focus, courage. And this is where most stumble. Most begin with fire, then let distractions, doubt, and laziness extinguish the flame before noon. But the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is the discipline to follow through, to honor the promises you make to yourself day after day. Understand this: the world will not wait for your readiness. Opportunities do not linger because you feel nervous or unsure. Doors will not hold open for someone hesitating at the threshold. Life rewards the brave, the relentless, the consistent. And consistency is born from these 7 promises, not once, not occasionally, but every morning, over and over, until your behavior becomes instinctive, until your responses are automatic, until your identity transforms. At that point, success is no longer a goal. It is a natural consequence of who you have become. Let me remind you of something crucial. Momentum compounds. Small choices, repeated daily, accumulate into results that feel impossible in the short term, but inevitable in the long term. Every morning that you own your energy, you inject power into your system that grows exponentially. Every moment of gratitude you practice rewires your perception, creating a brain conditioned to see abundance. Every step taken despite fear builds resilience, fortifying your spirit against future storms. Every truth spoken to yourself strengthens your core identity, making indecision and self-doubt weaker. Every imperfect action propels you forward, creating motion that perfect planning alone cannot achieve. And every act of giving, regardless of how small, sets in motion forces that eventually return to you multiplied in ways you cannot yet foresee. Pause and consider this. The life you dream of, the career, the relationship, the impact is not out of reach. It has always been closer than you realized. The barrier is not circumstance. It is your morning. It is your focus. It is your discipline. It is the cumulative effect of daily choices. Each sunrise is a reset, a chance to take command of your narrative. How you respond in these first hours sets the trajectory for everything else that follows. And once you recognize that, hesitation becomes absurd. Excuses crumble. Fear loses its grip. What remains is clarity, strength, and purpose. Let us delve deeper into the power of vision. A life without vision is a rudderless ship tossed by every wave of circumstance. Vision is your compass. It is the blueprint of your desired reality. But vision alone is not enough. It must be coupled with action. Daily, intentional, unwavering action, guided by the promises you have made. Every morning when you commit to energy, gratitude, control, courage, truth, progress, and giving, you are building the scaffolding of your vision. And as you continue this disciplined practice, your vision moves from abstraction into manifestation. You begin to notice opportunities others overlook. Doors open without effort because your energy, clarity, and action signal readiness. People gravitate toward you. Resources align. Serendipity seems real, but it is not luck. It is the inevitable result of preparation meeting execution. Now, consider the obstacles. They will come. Resistance is inevitable. The moment you commit fully, forces, internal and external, will test you. Doubt will whisper that you're not enough. Fatigue will demand surrender. Criticism and skepticism will arise from those who cannot yet understand your transformation. And here is the truth. The only way to overcome these forces is the relentless adherence to your promises. Your internal alignment, the consistency with which you uphold these 7 commitments becomes your shield, your sword, and your unbreakable foundation. When life tests you, as it inevitably will, your first reaction will not be panic, despair, or resignation. It will be clarity. It will be action. It will be forward motion. Do not underestimate the compounding effect of small wins. Each day you honor your energy. Each day you choose gratitude over scarcity. Each day you focus on what you can control, move despite fear, speak truth, embrace progress over perfection, and give more than you expect. You are building a legacy, not just for yourself, but for everyone. You touch. Your impact radiates outward. People notice. Lives are influenced. Dreams are ignited. The force you generate is unstoppable because it is rooted in habit, integrity, and purpose. I want you to imagine yourself 1 year from now. Think about the person you will become if you implement these 7 promises daily. Picture waking up not as someone drifting aimlessly, but as a person fully alive, fully intentional, fully present. Your relationships thrive because you bring energy and generosity. Your career advances because you act decisively and persistently. Your health, vitality, and clarity improve because you own your energy. Fear no longer dictates your choices. Progress becomes your language. Gratitude shapes your perception of abundance. Your words build you up instead of tearing you down. And giving becomes your currency, connecting you to people and opportunities in ways that are deeply fulfilling. This future is not fantasy. It is a direct product of your actions today, tomorrow, and every day thereafter. Now, here is a final profound point. Greatness is not a destination. It is a daily commitment. It is the accumulation of small, deliberate acts over time. It is the unwavering choice to honor your promises even when convenient, comfortable, or easy would be simpler. The people who achieve extraordinary lives are not inherently more talented, lucky, or intelligent. They are more disciplined, more intentional, more aligned with their highest selves. And the mechanism for that alignment is the daily practice of what I've outlined. these 7 promises. So when tomorrow arrives, rise with ferocity. Own your energy as if your life depends on it, because it does. Choose gratitude as if abundance is already yours, because it is. Focus on what you can control, letting everything else fall away. Move forward in spite of fear, knowing that courage is born in action. Speak truth to yourself, commanding your mind as you would a loyal army. Pursue progress, not perfection, stepping forward even imperfectly, consistently, relentlessly, and give more than you expect to receive, becoming a force for positivity, impact, and connection. Do this consistently, and your life will transform in ways that will astonish you. The impossible will feel natural, fear will shrink, opportunity will expand, relationships will flourish, wealth, fulfillment, and meaning will align with your efforts, your energy, your choices. And most importantly, you will wake up each day knowing that you are no longer a passive observer of life. You are the author, the architect, the unstoppable force shaping reality to your vision. This is your charge. This is your power. These are your 7 promises. Uphold them, embody them, live them. And as you do, you will awaken not only to the life you imagined, but to a life far beyond your imagination. A life defined not by luck, circumstance, or chance, but by conscious, deliberate, courageous action. Rise, commit, dominate. Own your mornings, own your energy, own your life. And in doing so, leave behind a legacy that will echo long after today, tomorrow, and even after you are gone. This is the life you were meant to live. The world is waiting. Step forward.